Last time, I shared my vision for creating a website builder that rivals Squarespace and Wix. Since then, I've chosen my tech stack, started work on the UI, and deployed the application to the internet. Let's dive into the details and explore what's next in this exciting project. Kicking off the development, the first thing I had to do was choose which technologies I wanted to use. I did a bit of research to see what people recommend, and let's just say, there's a lot of opinions out there. Learning from past experiences, where planning overshadowed doing, I opted for a more practical approach. I chose something that's in demand, so even if the project fails, at least I have something cool for my portfolio. This led me to pick NextJs. After successfully building the mandatory Hello World application, it was time to go live. Luckily for me, Vercel, the company behind Next, made this incredibly easy. All I had to do was push the code to GitHub and then press deploy, and I was live. I also bought the domain bluekey.io and connected it to my deployment. So if you want to check out the app, that's where it's at. Now it was time to start work on the actual UI. For inspiration, I was looking at different page builders, and the common theme was having a preview window at the center of the screen. So that's the first thing I wanted to add to my app. The builder I thought had the coolest preview is Shuffle. The preview kinda mimics a web browser. They even have this little URL bar for changing pages. I decided to build something similar for myself and ended up with this. I wanted the ability to add something to the page. Most builders do this from a side menu where you select a block which then appears on your page. I do like the flow of this, but I'm not a fan of the big menus. I think they take up too much screen space, especially since I want to fit in a code editor at some point. I decided to go with a minimalistic menu similar to Cyro, which has this thin bar on the side. I added a button to my menu and made a block appear when you click on it. Seeing the unformatted text appear on the screen made me realize a big problem though. The blocks in my preview inherit styling from my main application, and this would definitely cause conflicts between the styling of the user's page and the main application. To resolve this issue, I had to consult the other website builders again, this time through Inspect Element. It turns out that in order to get around this issue, they use iframes. So I added an iframe to my app as well, and it must have worked since we now see the ugly default styling of the browser. I decided to increase the size of my blocks, which revealed an overflow issue along with an ugly scroll bar. I fixed the overflow issue and found a cool code pen that showed me how to restyle the scroll bar. Next, I wanted a menu to appear when you click the Add Block button, instead of the block just appearing on the page, similar to what we saw in the other builders. It's my first time working with animations, so it was a bit tricky to get it right. I also had an issue where the only way to close the menu was clicking on the button again. Usually menus can be closed by clicking anywhere outside of it. I solved this by adding an invisible overlay outside the menu, which when clicked closes it. Here's what it looks like colorized. The last thing I wanted to do this week was add back the ability to add blocks. For now, I just added buttons for each block, which when clicked adds them to the page. That's it for this video. Next I want to work on manipulating the blocks on the page. For example, I want to be able to delete the blocks, change the order of the blocks, and maybe have a nice preview of them in the block picker.